I mean, I feel like I was just here, but good week for us. And, I thought we came out the way I would want us to. Letting our defense lead us, doing a good job on the glass. Not an outstanding job, but a good job on the glass. And we shot the ball extremely well over the weekend. And so I think that's a testament to sharing the ball, playing unselfishly, and kind of making the next right play. And so you're shooting more open shots, and open shots go in more than contested shots. So really pleased with the results. But eyes forward very quickly here. We got a tough road matchup Wednesday against Southern Miss. So that's where we'll be mindset wise today.
Obviously, big wins, and I didn't get to see them. But what did you take out of those games more than just shooting well, the score, defense? Is there something that you took out that your kids did really well?
Yeah, I mean, defense is top of my mind. I thought for this week we committed we were going to hedge no matter what, and we did that. We did a really pretty good job of that. We did it better Saturday than we did Thursday. And I think that, we don't have a lot of teams in this league press. We don't have a press in literally every time that we go to put a press in. One of our kids couldn't practice that day or something. It's like Bree Robinson's not available today. It's like, well, I don't want to press without Bree Robinson. So our best way of disturbing you a little bit is that hedge, right? And if you're a ball handler and you're looking out of the screen, yeah, it's not comfortable to see 6'3" Grace McDonough or Bree McLeod or Shanti, And I thought we did a much better job with rotations out of that because you're putting two on the ball for a second or two. I thought we did that well, and I was impressed or pleased with our bench and their production, their confidence, shooting the ball but defending. I just thought that was a plus for the week. Was getting Kylie Marshall back to where we want her to be. Increasing Regina's confidence as she gets in the game, and down the line, right? Even Gemma Ellaby playing more than she's used to, and again, Bree McLeod's absence helped that. Angela too. I thought Angela. Everybody sees Angela scoring, right? But Angela's got work to do on the defensive end, and I thought this now allows us. We were just watching film, right? With her mistakes, right now you can show her a little bit more than she just spending her time watching Ashanti's mistakes on film. So it's a roundabout answer to a very simple question, Dave. But defensively, I thought that was what we wanted it to be, right? You held two teams into the low 50s, right? And that's what you want, man. You can put yourself in a lot of positions to win games, 52 and 45. You win a lot of games holding teams to that.
You and I talked about a month ago about getting the consistency that you want from your bench or the players after your top four, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing more consistency right now with them, like kind of what go along with what you just talked about?
Yeah. And look, I'm not without blame for that, right? Like I'm not without – I deserve a little bit of blame too because I have to trust them. And now they have to – there's a two-way street there, right? But I'm not like, oh, it's all them. No, I got to trust them. I got to put them in, and I got to let them play through a couple mistakes too, and that will help their confidence. So we were able to do that. Now it's a different test when you're on the road to Southern Miss and you're down 4, right? That's a different trust, right? And I still have to be able to trust, hey, Kylie, you're going to you might make a mistake or two, but I trust you to get these 5 to 6 minutes or whatever the segment of time is. But yeah, we need them. We need Kylie, we need Angela, we need Delilah, we need Bree McLeod, and we need Regina. And I'm not throwing we need Gemma too. Like Gemma's got to be able to. We're in a tough spot, and I've coached for too many years where you never know. I remember, as clear as day, we were playing in the CA semifinals, CA tournament semifinals. And we were in so much foul trouble. And we put Ania Young in as a freshman. And the kid was scared to death. She was because she hadn't had these minutes, right? And I remember Muff Mickens was like, they basically yelled at her, "Don't be scared." And Ania came up and banged 2 threes in the first half, and it was like a huge boost for us. We ended up winning the game, obviously, but that's what maybe that's Gemma, right? And you've got to be able to step up. You can't be nervous. You got to be comfortable. So that's what I do think it allowed us to do. We have to keep doing that. Our bench needs to feel supported too by the Paytons and the Brees of the world, which I think they do. But that's what I do think this week really did for us, was give them a little boost. And it'll get tougher, but it's a good step forward.
Talk about Southern Miss a little bit. We were sitting in Hattiesburg at Walk-On Sports Bar, and they had the Southern Miss ODU game on. We got to see their comeback and win in overtime, so a good win for them. But what do they do that can cause you guys some problems?
Yeah, they're good, and I know their record is they teeter, but they're good, especially at home. J.K. Johnson's been in this league 3 years. She's always a problem. Thames is I respect her. I don't know the Breland kid because we haven't played against her yet, but they're versatile. They're talented. I think they play tough. I was watching obviously games yesterday, and I know it hasn't all been at the Division I level, but Coach Missy's won like 700 games. I mean, she's coaching high school basketball in '99 when I'm a high school graduate. Like, there's experience there too, right? And so it's a lot, man. Now, it's got to be about us, and that's what I'm going to bring it back to right here. But they're talented, and you can't let J.K. Johnson get going. You can't let any of them. I mean. I was talking to my daughter about, she said, how good are they? They always, well, are they good? Yeah, they're good. They beat Troy. And she was like, they beat Troy? Right? So, like, it's a hard league, man, especially on the road, in the sense of this team is talented enough to beat Troy at home, but they can also lose to Coastal Carolina, who just got beat by Louisiana, right? So it's – you know how it is. So we've also haven't played the greatest on the road, right? So this is more about, for me, more about us, our approach, our toughness level, and we got to make sure we're doing kind of the core of what everybody saw these last 2 games is like let your defense lead you. And they're third in the league. I think they're 76 points a game, something along those lines. Let me confirm that. Yes, 75.5. I mean, that's a lot of points. So we've got to be really stingy defensively with them and make sure we know them and understand them, which we will. We got a 2-day prep for that, which will be beneficial for us.
We ask you every year about this, but obviously the Max Sunbelt Challenge, you'll have that game this weekend. We won't ask you about the opponent, but how about this challenge in general? Do you still like it here in its 3rd year, having a game in February in the middle of conference season? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they heard me a little bit. I still like it, man, and I really don't think many people are standing with me. A lot of people don't like the February date. I do. I think it's a good opportunity. I think it can help you net if you do it right. I think it gives you another non-conference game, which a lot of people struggle to get. I know the February thing, but it makes sense to me why we play the game in February. And it doesn't make as much sense if you're in 10th place and you're playing the other 10th place team. I get that. But I like it. I think it's beneficial. I think you can learn a lot about it. I think now, again, we didn't get in last year, but when it came down to it, that was our best win, right? That was our best that was an NCAA tournament team win at the time because they had won their league. So I think you can stand on that. And I don't know. I still am. I know if Preston's sitting right here, he's going to argue with me. But I like it. I think it's a cool challenge. I think there's ways it can be developed too. I think the first game of the year, and they almost went with something like this, but yeah, I don't know. You guys will remember this, but they used to have games like all day. It was like the start of college basketball season or something. It was like, I remember Ryder, Kevin Baggett playing at like 6 a.m. or something crazy. But like, could the opening day be that? Could it be this game at 11, this game at 12, this game at 1, and like have a day of it and make it a little something special? I just think there's a lot to it, and it is tough to get games. And now we're allowed a couple more games next year. That's a a lot of people are struggling to try to fit them in. But you can even ask me about the opponent only in the way of, like, he's a good friend of mine. Mike Leffler's a good friend of mine. So, just out of interest, I've watched them play more than any other MAC team during the year, just because if he's playing on a Sunday, I'll just tune in. So we do know them, and they're tough. He's got a good grip on them too, but it won't take. Certainly, our kids don't have the connection I have with UMass, so they will be all in with Southern Miss. I'll be all in with Southern Miss, but I still like the challenge. Is my answer.
Just to circle back to this past week, I know with wins the way you guys were able to do, you're able to empty the bench out a little bit more, but what about the benefit of being able to kind of rest that core four a little bit more, not having the add on extra minutes? How beneficial is that at this juncture of the year to be able to have that?
It could be very, right? And I know you ask them. I went down the line. I think Angela had gotten her fourth. And I go down the bench, and P and Bree are sitting next to each other, and they're both kind of looking at me like, "Can I go? Can I go?" And it's like, yeah, but like, you guys just came out. It was like 30 seconds ago. No, I think that's what it is, right? And I think I know we got a 2-day prep, and we're playing on Wednesday, but then we have a Thursday day off. It's a different week because we're playing on Sunday with the MAC Challenge, being on linear TV. So. I think, yeah, but I don't know, right? I do think yes, and I've been, that group. I've really leaned on that group quite heavily, right? And I think it's good for them to get a little lighter, if you can, because down the stretch we're gonna be leaning hard, and I think the more we can get from our bench, the more it takes off of them. Which would be nice to have, because either way, no matter if you're 1, 2 seed, 3 seed, like, you got to win back-to-back games minimum. And as it stands right now, we got to win. We'd have to win 4. We're in 5th place, so until somebody falls below us, you got to win multiple games. You're gonna need more than 5 people to do that.
I guess continuing on the MAC Challenge stuff, I know you like it, and you're always kind of open to any kind of ideas as far as like scheduling, boosting that, things like that. Mm-hmm. I know on the men's side they talked a little bit about maybe doing something early in the season in Pensacola, like a holiday type tournament or something. Like, has that been discussed on the women's, and what do you think of ideas like that?
I'm all for it. I think we've talked about it, not as, from what I understand, not as passionately as the men. And I think what I've heard from the Sun Belt is like, man, it's an expense. It's a big expense to have everybody come down there, right? It's it's like, so I'm up for it. I just don't mind the way it is. I think you got, like, we know next year, right? We're opening on the road at the MAC. It's set. We know you got a game in February. I want us to play the best team in the MAC again. I think that puts us in a good position. So those are the things I care about a lot. I don't know. I know people do not like the February date, because it does have, like, so it's 2 things, right? Right, this year we played 2 games before Christmas because of the calendar, and the Sun Belt tournament, my understanding, is immovable. It's always going to be that week. It's got to be with the men. It's got to be in Pensacola. Like, there's hard requirements for that. But now, because you're inserting that MAC game in, we have a bye week and a MAC game. We could eliminate, if we didn't play the Sun Belt MAC Challenge, you don't have to play those games before Christmas because it fits into the spring semester kind of thing, which I think is a good point for a lot of people that don't want to do this. I just think, like, we've watched the league get better from the women's side, right? We've watched it. I don't know if it has to do with the MAC Challenge, but you're talking, when we got here, there was a league that played a lot of non-D1s. I think a lot of people our schedules are getting better. And I think, could it be you're adding 2 more games of Division I opponents that are 120 in the net, stuff like that? Yeah, maybe. But I think all the steps we're taking, you're seeing an increase in our overall conference net, which is 6th, right? And so I think there's good things to it. I think the Pensacola thing is a great idea, similar to, like, the idea of playing all those beginning, like, the first day. Like, that would be, you could be the only with 2 leagues, right? But that would be, you could make an ESPN story out of that, right? If we're playing like I don't know what you'd call it, but like a madness day. Now, I'm all for that, Shane, until we got to play the 7 a.m. game. I don't want to do that, right? But like, I think you could do it. You could stagger them. So people, you could start one at 12 and one at 1, and now you're watching the first half of, like, I just think there's a lot you can create with it. And the Pensacola thing's a great idea. I have my doubts about the logistics and the cost of that.
And with Southern Miss, obviously, it's a lot of similar pieces from ULM last year.
Yeah.
How do you go about? Do you go back and watch ULM from last year at all this week, or do you just kind of focus on the Southern Miss team that it is?
Nah, I'll watch that one. That will be. I'll probably watch that one and not watch our Southern Miss game, right? Because like different coach, even though it's a merge, right? They have former Southern Miss kids, they have former ULM kids, but Missy's a coach, right? So it's more of that style. But I don't know. This year more than any other year for me, I've watched less of last year's games. Where usually that's a staple. Like you got to watch it, but it's like there's so much change from our team too, right? You're watching. I mean, there's so much change. I know P's still on the team and Z and Bree, but like we played totally different. Our style's different. Susha, how much we were throwing the ball to her versus what we're doing now, and then there's so much change on other teams. I mean, it's so much change. So I usually do it. It's usually like my last one. Like I always minimum 3 games, so I'll watch 3 of Southern Miss's games, and then maybe the night before, right? It's like, am I watching it kind of a little bit more casually of like, what can we pick up? I remember ULM. It was a tough one because they had a 2-game road trip to end the year, and I believe they lost at Marshall. And if they had won that game, they could have finished like as good as 4th or something, maybe even higher. I can't remember. And they came here, and I thought they were a little deflated. So I don't think they played their best game here. And we played really well. Senior night, Rowe was rolling. I remember all that stuff. But I think circumstances, it was different. Everything's different, right? But I'll watch it maybe Tuesday night.
And I know every time the players get asked about home versus away, they kind of downplay that aspect of it. Say it's more about just playing their game. But
yeah.
When the results have been as drastic as they have, you've been extremely dominant at home in conference play. Like, is there anything to that, like just being home?
I don't know, man. Like there probably is. You know what I mean? But to me, and I think it's 2 things. One, I think our home environment is awesome. So I think naturally you're going to play better. Most teams naturally play better at home anyway. Now, to this extreme, I've never experienced this extreme of how well we play at home. And we have struggled on the road, but I don't believe in the whole grand statement thing of like, oh, we just aren't good on the road. No, I don't believe that. We haven't played well on the road for different reasons, right? And it's hard. I don't even want to say haven't played well. Like Marshall, we're playing great for 30, 35 minutes. Great. I mean, 45 on the scoreboard at halftime. Like we're rolling. We got cold, right? And then you can explain Georgia Southern much differently than that. I thought they took it right to us. That was like kind of the true loss for me. And then Georgia State was awful. It was an awful experience, and still should have won the game. You knocked down some free throws. You defend the 3-point line, right? It's just like little things. So I can't do a grand statement, but it is. The numbers will show you. Yeah, we're not the same. It hasn't been the same production home and road on average. But the best part is, man, none of that matters Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? It's all that matters is this 40 minutes, and I think we've been able to hit the reset button a couple times as a group, as a team, and that's what I'm looking for. This can't, just because you played well at home against the last place team and the second to last place team, it doesn't matter. It doesn't give you any points at Southern Miss. So like, let's go. We're on a mission here to make sure we control as much as we can control is just to win the next game, and all you can do. And yeah, I told them pay attention. Marshall's got to play Georgia Southern twice. So that they're in front of us, right? I believe Ark State goes to Georgia Southern this week. Somebody's got to lose the game, right? So like let them fall. But we got to control what we can control, which is going to Southern Miss, tough environment, talented team, like good enough to beat you on the road for sure. So that's what, you can write the story. I can't do a grand statement because it's all about just one 40-minute game.
Coach, when I was talking to Gary Broadhead before the Louisiana game, one of the things that he was looking forward to in that game was to play a more traditional style of team as compared to the chaos that comes about from some of the other league opponents, Arkansas State, Georgia State, Marshall, and how they're doing that. You had to make the adjustment from one league to the other 4 years ago. What adjustments are you needing to make, if any, now that you're 4 years into this league and seeing how this league is evolving? As you mentioned, it's sixth in the country right now and seems to get better. Maybe it is the scheduling.
Yeah, I know for sure that well, look, and let me answer that a couple of different ways. It is a very different league. So our team is built, and we've talked about this as a staff. I think we're built as a high major ACC style team, and that's why we wanted BMAC. That's why we wanted Grace. That's why we put Shanti at the 4. Angela's a bit we got big. Delilah's a big guard. Kylie's a big guard. Peyton's a big guard, right? And that's how we built. That's how we, I think, can compete with those ACC teams. So that's one. We're struggling a little bit this year with how little people are, and use Ark State because, 1 through 4, it's 5'8", and they're fast and they're quick and they can shoot, and it's like that's a tough guard for Delilah, right? That's a tough guard for Kylie, and you're trying to match up styles and stuff like that, and I love her to death, and I'm like, this is it. I'm glad she's here, and we're going to finish the strong way, and we're going to find a way to win a championship. But no, you're never going to be a pressing team with Peyton McDaniel. Right, it's just not. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to be her preference, and not that we make every decision for Peyton McDaniel, but it's your best player. You're going to make decisions around your best player. That's always how I believed. But I do think when we transition here, I think the offseason can bring some of choices. Right, we're going to develop who we've got on the roster, but you're going to add a couple pieces here, and can you add that element because it has shown it's worked. You've got Kim Caldwell's Marshall team that won a championship, was very successful. Ark State, I don't think did it as much last year as they're doing it now, but successful. Got us, pinched us in the championship, has beaten us again this year. So that's my soul-searching part is different style guards, maybe a little bit more versatile, maybe a little bit more depth. I got my buddy Neil Harrow. That's like everybody is playing 10 people, 11 people in the Sun Belt. I was like, yeah, man, it's my style's my style. But I do think there will be some of that talk from us in the off season of all right, now when we're adding a couple more pieces, what do they look like? And the whole goal here, right, is we want to be successful. I love that we beat Virginia Tech. I love that we beat Wisconsin, etc. But the whole goal here is to win the Sun Belt tournament. And how do we need to adapt? That'll be an off-season conversation, an in-depth one of what's best for us to win the Sun Belt tournament every year. But no, there are always adjustments I think you have to make.